Hey everyone, I am here to do a Mercury retrograde video for you guys. I'm not going to be able to heavily edit this video, so you guys, I'm just warning you ahead of time. Let's just roll with the punches, get the message out there, have grace with me. Mercury is already in shadow at the time of you watching this video, but Mercury retrograde is going to occur here pretty soon. And so I want to give you some information that will help you get through this time, because when I was looking at the chart for this retrograde, I think it's a very positive time for us. However, I feel like when I can see the information that you need to know, what I need to know, and I feel like we're missing the mark totally, I want to make sure that you understand why I put this message out here for you. There's a lot of new faces around here. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Yashica. I am the CEO and founder of Yashicasintuition. And what I do is help women become the best versions of themselves. That's going to be different for every woman, but I help you gain clarity and insight to what it is that you want out of life, who you want to be, and why you want it, so that you are able to align with a purpose and a vision for your life, and you're not moving through life just going through the motions. The reason why you see me do a variety of things, from personal development to self-help to astrology, tarot, and all of the things, is because I strongly believe that you should be leveraging every tool at your disposal in order to be successful. And I believe that astrology has something to offer us in by way of informing us of, if it's our personal astrology, things about us that we need to know so that we can know where our opportunities and our challenges lie, but also when you are looking at the astrology of transit, so you know what information, what energies are available to you, so that you're working with the flow of energy instead of trying to butt up against things and creating greater challenges in your life. So that's what I do. That's what I believe in. If you want to learn more about me and my mission, you can go to YASHICASINTUITION.com. Let's go ahead and let's get into this message. First of all, we have with Mars sextile the moon, an opportunity for better energy. So we've been going through a lot of heavy stuff, and it's been one heavy thing after another heavy thing. And on top of that, we just entered eclipse season, along with Mercury retrograde now making multiple planets in retrograde. And so it has been very hard to find opportunity in the things that we've been experiencing. But what I have here is that I see a pathway for opportunity for better energy, for answers, for compassion, and also better energy for manifesting. So for those of us, myself included, that have been feeling like we're hitting a wall, I think that opportunity is going to shift a little bit so that we feel like we have some forward movement. I also feel that there is some very positive energy for romance, creativity, spirituality, and realizing the fruits of the labor, the work that you have done thus far. So while some of us are still awakening or still trying to get our head around the things that we're going through in order to move forward, in order to manifest, and although some of us are still feeling confusion and doubt, and like I said, a lack of clarity around who we are, what we want out of life, and why we want it, there are plenty of us in this community that are showing up, that are doing the work. And for those of you that have been doing the work, you do have an opportunity here to see some fruits of your labor. Remember though, when I talk to you guys about sextiles, I need you to be very aware of a sextile, meaning that you have to grasp an opportunity and you have to take the opportunity by the horns. This is not something that feels more like luck. This is a window here for you to grab it. And if you grab it, things can actualize very positively for you when you see a sextile. This is very important, and there's going to be a lot of things that I am going to talk about current event related, but hopefully not triggering, because I don't come from the same space that mass consciousness is coming from. And so I believe that with this Mercury retrograde continuing to get stronger and usher in more energy, some of us are going to be able to step back and see how we are getting caught up in feelings, how we are getting caught up in emotions without coming from who we are. We're getting caught up in other people's feelings, other people's emotions, mass consciousness, and losing sight of our mission, how we can better ourselves, how we can do the internal work, and how by doing that internal work, we are able to move mountains. We are able to show up in our light. And by showing up in our light, if each one of us individually takes that responsibility to ourselves, imagine how much more could be accomplished when we are coming from that space. And I see some of us starting to recognize that and starting to realize that as this Mercury retrograde energy gets stronger. Don't lose sight of your purpose and your vision, for if you act from that space and you grasp this energy the way it was meant to be used, you can quickly see things happen in the material form. This is a perfect opportunity where energy is sped up for you to take an idea, a belief, a shift that you need to make, and actually see the results of whatever shift you made on the material plane. So I don't want you to lose sight of this opportunity that you have at your disposal. So if you've been stalling, or if you've not been doing the work, or what you may have been doing is to stop putting yourself first and focusing on everything that is going on around you, or everything that is going on within your relationships, but not taking the time to cultivate a relationship for yourself, it is now time for you to walk your talk. There's the portal opening, like I said, and for many of you that lie to yourself and downplay the things that you want out of life and ask for half of what it is that you really want, or what it is that you really desire, because you have a lack of self-worth and you have a lack of self-confidence in your ability to truly have what you fully want. If we could reach your thoughts, if we could reach your mind, if we could go into your heart and know what you really want, but you lie and you say, oh, I'll settle for this. Oh, I'll be happy with this. Oh, I don't need this. You need to shift that, and you need to have faith that you can have more out of life. But you are getting in the way of your opportunities. And so this is going to be the time for you that you can finally start to say yes to yourself, instead of lying to yourself, instead of putting yourself off, instead of not stepping into your truth and not stepping into your power, instead of not dealing with the feelings that you have around your worth and your ability to truly have what it is that you want out of life. This could be your time, but it's upon you to take advantage of this opportunity that you have available to you. Secondly, we have Mars squaring the Sun, which we've already had that energy. So I just want to reiterate that there are still tensions that are in place. But again, like I've said for the last month, these tensions are due to immaturity and conviction to find truth for yourself. These tensions are due to immaturity. And I know it's really hard for people to wrap their head around the fact that what's going on right now is a result of immaturity, but it is a result of immaturity. Not what your subjective opinion about immaturity is, but logically, literally, the meaning of immaturity is playing out on the larger scale that we see going on right now. What you should be focusing on is finding truth and conviction, but finding that within yourself. This resentment, tension, and anger is just swinging like a pendulum. And while there's certainly, a lot going on, which rightfully so is going to cause a buildup of tension and a buildup of feelings and emotion and power struggles, fighting against something is not the answer. And it's not only my opinion. This is what I see when I'm reading the chart. Fighting against something is not the answer. The ego, or Sun in Gemini, is a prime example how you are not seeing things fully and you are not seeing things clearly. And so it's going to be up to you to tap into truth. and dig deeper and to develop a philosophy from your truth and from your consciousness, and to stop falling for mass consciousness and stop thinking that you're getting the full story or you have the full knowledge when you don't. You do not have the full story, and you will fall for anything if you aren't connected to a truth that is within you. Your job now is to find truth, the truth that lies within you, something that you believe in. Your job now is to find that truth and that light and that information within yourself, and to develop that philosophy from within. Consciousness is holistic. And when you work on your own unique truth and your vision, and when you truly are working on a path and an intention of consciousness, you inherently are being holistic. And from that space, you are able to tap into your own unique truth and your own unique vision. And that allows you to be able to activate yourself behind what you stand for, not what you stand against. That is the difference. You are able to activate yourself behind a cause that you stand for rather than what you stand against. So the key question is not what are you against? What do you stand for? All right, so Jupiter is retrograde, trining the moon. That's going to be a more positive energy that could feel a little bit more lucky than, like I said, the sextile, where you have to actually be a part of making an opportunity happen. Still doesn't mean things are going to fall into your lap and you could just sit back and let things happen, but usually there may be a little bit more luck involved than a sextile, where you may have to even seek out an opportunity. This is coming from a space of love where you're able to make changes. Believing in differences and being divisive right now is not the way to make changes. And, I'm always talking about our internal personal selves before I'm talking about the outer world. The answer is connecting to yourself and building a relationship within. And from there, you approach life with the intention of creating authentic, intimate relationships that are grounded in authenticity. I'm sure you can see it. I'm not going to call it out, but this new relationship building and this approach that's going on right now, and the intentions behind how people may feel like they are coming together, we need to make sure we are asking, are they created from authentic and intimate spaces? And are they grounded in authenticity? Or again, are we failing to look within and getting our cues from without? This energy is calling for you to show up in your unique way from that space. For instance, in the current climate, it is much different and more effective, again, to develop a cause that supports multicultural endeavors rather than one that fights racism. And you may think that I'm saying the same thing, but I'm not. I want you to think about the energy and the intention behind someone that doesn't believe in racism, that decides that they want to fight racism, versus pour energy and support into multicultural endeavors. There is a big difference here. And if you are here and you're sitting with me and you're rocking with me, I hope that you can see and feel the difference behind even that statement. And that's where your causes and your truth and your conviction and your activism should come from. That space. The reason why is because this is where flow is, and this is where the path of least resistance will take us when we are trying to create change within ourselves and then ultimately change within the world. This is where harmony comes from. The funny thing about this, and when I was studying this and just trying to find my words around this, it's like we always feel like if we want to have a big reward in the human race, it's like we have to struggle and we have to to fight for it, and everything has to be a challenge in order for us to get a reward. When sometimes if we just stepped back and we went with the flow of energy and went with the path of least resistance, the very thing that we're trying to accomplish would happen much easier, would happen with much better intentions, with less struggle, less fight. It would happen faster. So sometimes it's best to look at what's going on around you from a conscious point of view and go with the path of least resistance. Again, stepping back from what's happening in our collective, what you need to realize is before you can even think about what's going on in the collective, you have to know who you are and you have to know what you stand for, or you end up standing up for and working for causes, goals, things that aren't even yours. If you don't decide for yourself, somebody else is deciding for you. Think about that one as well. Stop defaulting your consciousness to the outside world. Stop defaulting your consciousness to mass consciousness. Stop defaulting your consciousness to the intentions of others. For months, I have urged you guys, I have warned you guys that this was when COVID first started, that the universe was calling for us to be free thinkers and to really try to start to find the truth and the answers within ourselves. And if we didn't, that we would fall victim to everything else. And like I said, everybody else's purpose and cause and mission and fights. And I want to know if you answer that call to be that free thinker, to awaken your own consciousness and to not flow with mass consciousness, especially when the truth, the real truth, is so blurry right now. This is a great time to reconnect to your life, to go back over your relationship with yourself and the people in your life. This is also a good time to go over your relationship with finances and with abundance. And this is a time for a practical approach and a time for finding solutions to issues. This will also work in your favor if you bring structure and you bring discipline to your personal mastery practice. So this is about self-reflection, evolution, growth, change, all of the things that are going to continue to make you a better person day in and day out. You could also look for understanding. This is more collective. This is a little hint that you may want to pay attention to instead of what everybody is having you believe may be an issue, is you may also look at the understandings of business dealings as part of your world and part of the collective. And you could analyze and tap into your intellect, but you have to do it with balance, because this is not a time to overanalyze and overthink and be overly intellectual about things. It's a time to be curious. It's a time to study. It's a time to be a truth seeker. And it's a time to really go within, to really connect to what vibes well with you versus go without and try to, like I said, glean onto some sort of mass consciousness that is moving you in a direction that is not of truth, that is not of light, and that is not revealing the whole story, whether that be intentionally, because mass consciousness is not conscious and it's not holistic right now, or woke. Consciousness at this time should be expanding to break free and realize hopes and freedoms and dreams, but it is in the realm of intellect where we're going to find this expansion and this freedom and realizing hopes and dreams. It's going to be an intellect, and it's not even the intellect where you know the truth, you know where you stand. We are not there yet. The intellect that I'm talking about, the expansion that I'm talking about around consciousness, is being open-minded, being a free thinker, noticing what doesn't serve you intellectually, finding out what does serve you intellectually, running that through your own inner compass. And from there, you will start to develop a truth and philosophy for yourself upon which you should be able to activate around something that you stand for. But until you have done all of that, again, this is not a time to act right now in the way that we think it's a time to act. it's a time to act with the flow of the energy that is available for us if we want to make changes for the highest and best good of ourselves, as well as the highest and best good of all involved. What's very important right now, and a lot of people may not find this to be a very popular opinion, but it's about embracing a unique identity right now that is not on one side or the other. And it's about becoming more like-minded in our vision. So we can all have a vision of a world where we are more multiculturally tolerant and accepting and blah, 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 blah. That is okay. But our contribution to that cause is going to be unique to each one of us. And I think that that is where we may need to step back and really connect with our truth and center and ground ourselves in order to see how we can best contribute as an individual to the collective at large. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have some energy giving us some strength and courage to tackle difficult things that are happening in our life. And that's by way of Jupiter sextile Mars. Again, with a sextile, you have to grasp this opportunity. It's a very good time for you to pour into difficult things because there is an opportunity for success once you pour into these difficult things and get them done. And it may feel like things that are normally very difficult for you are easy. So if you have something that you need to do and you've been putting it off, or you know it's going to be a little bit tedious, now is the time to do it. And it's also a very good time to examine how you have been conditioned from various aspects of the human condition, of the human experience, and how you suppress and how you repress yourself in order to fit in with mass consciousness. The conditioning that you've experienced and the way that you have suppressed and repressed your authentic self in order to fit in with the collective at large, as well as how you move in your own relationships and your own environments, distorts your authenticity, and it highlights a need for you to mature emotionally. If you want to live life on purpose, you have to mature emotionally. We have Saturn conjunct Jupiter. That's been going on for a while, nothing new, both the retrogrades. I believe that this energy is basically combing over everything that it missed when it was going forward in order to grasp more opportunities and advance collective society as a whole, but also to advance us on the individual things that we want to manifest and on our individual life purposes. For some of us, this feels like barriers, but for some of us that are disciplined, this looks like even more opportunity being given to us to progress. And if you're feeling restricted, and if you're feeling like you aren't content with the way that things are, what barriers and boundaries do you need to bust through to actually live the life that you truly desire? And once you ask yourself that, whatever answer you get, do the work. This has been something that has been repeatedly in my messages for the last few years. What do you want to do to live life on purpose? Who do you want to be? And why do you want the things that you want? And not just say again that you want things out of a space of lack of self-worth or lack of confidence. And so you say these little things that you want when in your heart and your soul you really want more for your life. What do you really want? What barriers are stopping you? And what are you going to do about it? You have that support right now, even if you feel like you're running up against resistance. Your intuition is still strong right now. Sensitivity and emotions are still strong right now. Again, highlighting the fact that there's a lot of action on feelings and emotions and less action on logic, because a lot of us are in a space of mental immaturity right now, and that is a literal mental immaturity for those of you that are going to get your feelings hurt when I'm telling you that you may be emotionally immature. There's an opportunity for connections on deep levels. So again, if you use this for your highest and best good, it can really strengthen intimate relationships and strengthen your connection to your spiritual practice and God, as well as build connections for you with people that can help you facilitate healing and growth and evolution. But for a lot of you, you're not acting on accurate information if you are not able to transcend your sensitivity and your emotions. what can help you is always to choose the path to enlightenment and self-discovery about who you are and your place in the world. And from that space, you are able to advance your purpose and your cause. Do you see the theme that's going on in the cosmos right now? Pluto trine the moon, all things deep are possible. Some of us could run into people of high influence in our lives and build intense connections. Just make sure the intense connections that you are building are built on truth and not on feelings and sensitivity. There's also this underlying very intense pressure, mainly coming from Pluto, that's trying to motivate you to evolve and to grow. And the thing about Pluto, especially with Pluto going retrograde and just kind of still trying to trigger every little thing that it missed, is that it can feel very ruthless, but what it's doing is creating a more rich environment for growth. And if you can get your butt in gear, you will appreciate what will come from the efforts of this motivation that Pluto is trying to lend you in order to evolve and to grow. So the good thing about this, or the bad thing, depending on how you look at this energy, is that the changes that Pluto is trying to get you to make aren't like these rapid, swift changes. These changes are incremental changes to allow us to check, adjust, and calibrate along the way. So we are getting grace in order to make the changes that we need to make. But the question is, are you going to act from that space? Because when you act from this space, this is where your magic is right now. This is where your power is right now. This is where your freedom is right now. Your inspiration is here in this space. And the connection to the hopes and the dreams and the desires that you have for yourself and for the collective, they're all connected right here to this energy that I'm telling you about. Ultimately, what is happening right now is that we're being called to look at ourselves regarding our identity, and we are being shown where we need to learn, where we need to grow, where we need to expand, and the issues that we need to resolve. And I feel like the chart is ultimately pointing our decision to our internal identity, our compass, our point of view, to the ego things that we need to release as well as adopt, and also to economic issues that we don't understand, that we are immature about, and that we have been purposely blinded from, that we may need to study, as well as how we think and how we communicate in the world at large. You are being called to act. So we all feel like we're being called into some sort of action. And that's why I think that we're feeling triggered and that action is needed. And it is. Action is needed. I do see that in the chart. I do feel that in my heart and soul. The question is, now that you know all this, are you taking the right action? So that is my reading for Mercury retrograde. Like I said, we're already in that energy right now. I talked a lot to those of you who are playing small in life. You keep saying that you want to change, but you don't. Or you try, or you think you're trying, but you keep butting your head against the wall. Or you don't even give yourself a chance because you don't believe in yourself. You don't have confidence in the things that you really want to accomplish. What I am noticing time and time again with the clients that I've been working with over the past couple days is that you want more out of life. You have hopes, you have dreams. Like I said in this reading, you know that you are being called to want more for yourself and to step into a purpose for your life and step into a new identity for yourself that's much greater and much more responsible and much more contributory toward the things that you want out of life, as well as the collective as a whole. You are being called to become your unique, powerful self, to shine your light. However, you don't know how to do that. You run into blocks, you run into problems with that. And I'm here to let you know that you don't have to do that. For the month of June, I still have one-on-one private coaching slots available, and private coaching is for you if you feel like you finally want to become the better version of yourself, the best version of yourself, and from that space you're able to call in abundance, health, finances. You are able to connect to your truth. You are able to connect to your consciousness, and from that space you shine your light. From that space you approach life holistically, and you make a difference in your world. And just inherently, by making a difference in your world from that space, you make a difference in the world at large. So if it's something that you're interested in, if it's something you want to tap into, if it's something you want to do for yourself to stop playing small and really step into life and lean in and get what you deserve out of life, then you can check out YASHICASINTUITION.com/coaching, or you can DM me, private message me, however you need to get in contact with me. And we can discuss more about how we can hop on a call and see if I'm the right fit for you to help you very quickly move through the blocks and barriers that we talked about, so you can start living life on purpose. And I will talk to you in the next video.